So life is pretty hard at 46. I've been through a lot of shit, man. I've lived in 20 states, walked across the United States. I grew up in foster care. I was abused. I was forced on drugs. I was molested. I live in a tent, a very nice tent, to be honest with you. So, spent most of my time living in the woods. I've lived under a tarp in Oregon in blizzard conditions. Now I'm lucky to be here in Flagstaff, Arizona, and I get to stay on a property that's owned by a native elder, a Dine elder, Yate. And she's old, but she's mean. She's mean and patient and loving at the same time. I tell you, if there's any place that I could have ever ended up at that made life better for me, it's living in the backyard of a fucking Navajo lady. Living in the backyard in a property that a Navajo lady owns, and it's kind of where I wanted to be. It's kind of where I wanted to end up. Actually, it's kind of one of the reasons that I moved to Flagstaff, Arizona, was to get closer to that culture and the people, and that's what Danette is. It's the people. But yeah, so I have a tent. It's cool. It's not cool. It's cool now. But during the day it's like 90 degrees in here, maybe to 100, but I have a swamp cooler. And I struggle. I struggle a lot, man. I have addiction problems. I have an addiction to alcohol. And the problem is that I'm a functioning alcoholic. And I don't call myself an alcoholic because I drink beer pretty much every day. I drink whiskey. I smoke cigarettes. But I don't do any of those things until like 5 or 6 o'clock. So, I'm not trying to justify it. I'm just saying. I do a lot of work. I help a lot of people in town, and I handle my business. I am the highest rated appliance repairman in town. I'm the highest rated vacuum repairman in town because there's nobody else doing it. So I found a niche, and I jumped right into it. So right now, like, honestly, the only thing that I need to deal with is help with the drinking. That's an issue. I'm actually going to take a shot of my GM Beam right now. I have severe PTSD. Okay. I decided to, even though you knew what I was doing, just in case anybody gets triggered or whatever. I have severe PTSD, diagnosed PTSD. I was actually diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactive disorder when I was about 5 or 6 years old, and I was put into foster care. They actually came to my school and took me out of my home because my mom wouldn't put me on Ritalin. And I can't say if my life would have been better or worse or whatever. It's what it is. But all I know is the abuse in the foster care system in Indiana and Kentucky. I was bullied every day. I was in a fight pretty much every fucking day. If I didn't take my pills, And I acted out because they would try to force me to take my pills, and they didn't even try to de-escalate or anything like that. They were like, hey, you got to take your medicine. And I'm like, I don't want to take it. And I don't even know why when I was like 6 or 7 years old, whatever, why I didn't want to take it. I honestly, to be honest, I grew up being very aware of constraints and restrictions and stuff like that. I was breaking out of my crib when I was, a baby. My mom like came upstairs and because she heard some noise, and it was because I broke out of my crib. And not even that, I was popping the hinge pins on the fucking door to open up the door, because she would just basically lock me in the room in my crib and whatever. And I just woke up as a little baby, and I was like, I don't want to be in here anymore. I'm gonna get out of here. So I fucking hopped out of my crib, crawled across the floor, found a tool, found something, and it was like popping hinge pins. So all my life, since I've been born, and even my mom, having talked to my mom, she was like, you were a hard birth. Like, you definitely put up a fight, but once you saw the light, you were like, I'm fucking out of here. Like, I gave her a lot of pain. She was definitely in pain for a long time. It was a natural childbirth. But anyways, I digress. A lot of things I don't remember, and I think I remember, and they could be wrong, whatever. But it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle my whole life. Trying to figure out how things work. Because obviously being estranged from my mother and not having any real male figures, role models in my life, it's been a fight. But you gotta keep going. Somehow or another. I've learned. I've definitely learned that thinking about it, worrying about it, stressing about it, and blaming people has not helped ever. And again, at 46 years old, I'm almost 50 years old. I'll be 50 in 3 fucking years, and the time just goes by, like a fart in the fucking wind. I've realized it a while ago when I was walking across the United States, when I left Tampa, Florida in 2011, and I walked to Oregon. I realized freedom, and I realized peace, and I realized, that the universe isn't out to get you. The universe is not your enemy. You are your enemy. Your fears and your insecurities and stuff like that are what's going to kill you, and or destroy you, and cause you to make bad mistakes. And again, my bad mistakes and my bad issue is the drinking and the cigarette smoking. But I'm working on it. I'm aware of it. Just changing your viewpoint about things, because I've noticed, and I've been through it all. I've been through everything except for I can't think of anything, but I've been through everything that I've been through. But lots of fights. I've been in over 60 street fights, well over 60 street fights across 20 states. I've won most of them. I'm not a tough guy. I'm not a badass. I just grew up not fucking caring to cater to bullies. And my mom actually helped me with that when I was a little kid. So I grew up fighting, and I've been in fights. Never done anything physically, to anybody that I felt in my own idea of, what's right and wrong, and that didn't deserve it. You know, so I guess my point is that, you know, even as we get older and as I've gotten older, I'm kind of just now learning some things that I had noticed from back in the day. The main thing is that I'm 46 and I'm still fucking alive. I've fallen off of buildings, I've been in car crashes, I've been shot at, I got stabbed. I have a scar on my leg. I don't know if it'll show up, but I don't know if you can see where that is. But do you know where the femoral artery is? I could have died, but I didn't. I've gotten hit by a car. I could have died, but I didn't. I fell off of a building, a 2-story building in Louisville, Kentucky. I could have died, but I didn't. For some reason, now, I have to look at all of that. And I have to honestly have to say, and I've always said it. I've always said this since I was a little kid. I have great guardian angels. You know, I have amazing guardian angels. I've got some of the best ones. I've seen a lot of guardian angels. They're some of the best ever. I've got the best ones ever. Okay, the best ones. Okay, I've talked to a lot of angels, but I got the best ones. Okay, they're protecting me. I don't know why I do that. But you know, so anyways, but I'm alive at 46, and I'm gonna be 50 soon, and so like again, there's a couple things I need to work on. Obviously, this. Cheers, mate. Sorry if that's a trigger for you. But I handle my business. People like me. People are confident in my ability to perform jobs effectively, and you know. And I don't make many mistakes when it comes to my business. You know, and if I do, I make amends for it and I handle it. And usually what happens, to be honest with you, and I won't go into the story, but usually what happens is that I find that I make a mistake and then I learn from that mistake, and it actually makes the situation even better. Okay, like I had to fix somebody's vacuum cleaner, and there were these, and it's an old vacuum cleaner, it's not even a name brand, and there's these little plastic pieces that kind of hold the swivel wheel onto the brush roller, and it just rotates. And without those little plastic pieces, well, it's not gonna rotate, it's just fall out. Well, somehow or another I fucked up, and we lost the plastic pieces. Client came back to me. She had to drive down from the reservation, and I said I wasn't going to tell this fucking story, but here I am. Anyways, and I bring it to my house, and I was like, I can't fix this. I feel so bad. You know, and I was like, they don't even make this machine anymore, and if I was to get her a new one, they're $500 on eBay. And then I'll have to refund the money, and I don't have any money. You know, because I spent it on fucking whiskey and cigarettes and, you know, tortillas and fucking, you know, dog food, whatever. No, tried to make a joke there. That didn't work. But that's okay. And so I'm sitting there looking at it, but I was able to think of something. And I grabbed a bungee cord, like a black rubber bungee cord, and I cut the pieces out for it. And I was able to slide them in there like a bong, or, you know, like whatever. If you don't know what a bong is, I'm sorry. It's like basically like a bong to fill those holes. And then I was like, wait a minute, I have automotive, wheel bearing grease. So I put that on there. Basically, I fucked up. I made a mistake, but it actually worked out because I was able to make the machine work better and perform better than it did from the manufacturer. So even then, so mistakes are good. We need to make mistakes. Okay, so sorry, I said I wasn't going to tell that story, but I did. And but that's the way it is. So now moving forward, it's hard. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be easy because things work out. The universe works out. The universe is not out to get you. Remember that. You are out to get you, and maybe people are out to get you, but those people are not you. So you don't have to worry about those people, okay? You just have to worry about you and how you react to things. And luckily, living with a Native American elder woman who kicks my ass all the time about things, but she's also very patient. She's also very wise, and she's also very smart, and she has definitely helped me realize that, you know what? It's what it is, man. Don't stress about it. Don't stress about it. Try to fix it if you can. And if you can't fix it, move on. You can't please everybody. We're not put on this planet to please everybody, okay? We were put on the planet to help people, but not to please everybody. You can't fucking do that. No way. That's impossible. So, I hope that something I said resonates with somebody. I just needed to get it off my chest and put it out there. Let me know if I missed anything. If you have any thoughts or suggestions or ideas or criticism, please let me know. Cheers. I hope.